and we're gonna be loading into game number 1 of our fresh new series as we follow Ruiyichi. God, I just said his name. God damn. As spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Dragon Scales, we have our American Protoss player representing Apprentice Esports. It is Ruiyichi. And spawning in the top left hand corner of Dragon Scales, we have as opponent, we have the Finnish Zerg player representing Berserker Esports. It is Mixu. The two Sea Duckling Open alumni facing after many years. Now, much older, much wiser, no longer Diamond, both GM. Let's go. One from Europe, the other from the Americas. We'll see how this all does unfold. In current StarCraft, I would say that Mixu has a slight edge over Ruiyichi. I do think Ruiyichi hasn't had as much success or as much kind of as much of a rise to fame as Mixu. Maybe a part of that is because you know, especially when it comes to Nation Wars, for example, like Mixu, he has been able to have the limelight alongside Cyril. Maybe Cyril taking him under his wing a little bit. Yeah, we'll see how these two different regions, how these two styles do clash. As we have seen quite a bit from Ruiyichi already, and I imagine we're going to be seeing more of the same. You know, both games against his previous opponents, Ruiyichi did go for Twilight Count openers, and I expect to see that as well. I'll be surprised and I'll be happy to see a Stargate opener coming out from Ruiyichi. I'd be very impressed if he plays like standard and macro. I'm like, oh my damn. We'll see. We'll keep an eye on him. Likewise, Mixu, I feel like, also thrives in the mid game as well. I haven't seen Mixu in a while. It's been a couple of months since I've seen Mixu compete in OSC King of the Hill. I know for a while Mixu was teamless as well. And shout out to Berserker Esports. They actually picked up Mixu for World Team League, for WTL. Up until that point, Mixu, I believe, was representing a different team for the WTL qualifiers, and before that Mixu was a free agent for quite some time, so it's cool to see him picked up. It's cool to see him supported by his brand new team. And speaking of support, he's gonna need it because Ruiyichi, once again, Twilight Council. And this is what I expect to see from him like every game this series. We saw it before, it's gonna keep happening. But the question is, what kind of variation are we gonna be seeing? So far we've seen 4 Glaive Adept, we've seen DT openers, but there's also 6 Glaive Adept, there's also 8 Glaive Adept, as we can go Giga all in. And there's also like different variations as well, where you stay on 2 bases, you can take up into a faster robo, into a bay. As the Twilight Council finishes, Glaives is not started and we go straight into the robo. So this kind of looks like the beginnings of a DT opener. The Overlord is going to be hunted down, so we are denying vision. At the same time, Ling tries to go in for a scout, but no, it doesn't find a way in either. And where is that Dark Shrine? Oh, there it is. Okay, it's the long way around. I was curious. This was delayed by quite a bit. I believe Ruiyichi just wanted to make sure that he killed the Overlord and he denied the Ling as well. Unfortunately, that does mean that it's going to be delayed. And as we saw, he was maybe a little bit overly cautious and overly paranoid. Clearly, he didn't really need to go to that extent to delay his own Dark Shrine. As we have another Overlord looking to go into the main base. Here at the 4-minute mark, we have a Roach Warren thrown down by Mixu. So he's getting ready for Glaive Adepts. He does have that safety Roach Warren being thrown down at a reasonable hour. He's getting saturated here on his 3 bases. But DTs are kind of old school. You know, they're not very common in current meta. And just like Jay in the previous round, Mixu may forget to throw down some spores, or he may not think to throw down spores. As the Adepts are going to be moving on out, the Prism as well, waiting for these links to be cleaned on up. And as the Dark Shrine finishes, we still don't see a Spore. No Spore, no Lair. The longer this goes on, the more concerned I am here for Mixu, but there we go. A Spore is now started for our Finnish Zerg player here at the 3rd base. The natural though, and the main, very vulnerable, very exposed. And here we go. The DTs are going to be rocking on up. They do target down the Spore at the third base. The Spore is going to be going down. And just like that, there is no detection. We're going for the hatchery itself and a couple of workers, but the hatchery is the secure damage that we're really looking for. At the same time, Mixu, he's rushing across the map. He knows that he has to do some counter damage, but we have 4 adepts back at home. Oh, we have a transfuse. Bold move. Transfuse will not be enough to keep the hatchery alive. It will go down. At the same time, the Lings do rock up across the map, but no, the adepts are in position. The Lings don't do anything, and now the DTs can go ham on the queens. Now, we do have spores in the natural and the main base, so we should be fine there at least, but this has already found some damage. We can rotate over, and yo, we can even deny the would-be third. We get eyes on it, and Ruiyichi, he does dive on in. Ha! Oh, that's a kill, not a cancel as well. Ay, ay, ay. Mixu struggling, throwing down... or throwing another 600 minerals down the drain. We do see another backup third on the way. This time there is a spore in position, so we should be able to save it. But at this point, Ruiyichi is already morphing in those Archons. Third base back at home is up, safe and sound. We have a shield battery on the way. We're going to be saturating our bases as well, and Ruiyichi is going to be looking for some more damage. He's already done so much with these DTs, and now he finds even more with the Archons. Gets an Overlord, could even get a... he does get a Ravager as well. This is a rough start for Mixu. He's not out of this yet, not by any means. He's going to be losing some queens in the middle of the map. We just see Mixu rushing across the map with his Lings, with his Roaches, with his Ravagers. But without any detection, defensive DTs will reign supreme. Here we go. We have the overcharge to keep the pylon alive. Lings are rushing on in. The wall is not a wall, and we could even get us around on the Immortal. Really solid pick off here by Mixu. At the same time, though, the Archons are going for a counterattack, and they're going to be keeping Mixu on 1 base. Sorry, 2 bases. Immortal does go down. Lings are getting some economic damage in the main as well. At the same time, Ruiyichi is sending everything across the map. No, another Immortal? No way. The Immortal does survive this time. Meanwhile, across the map, we can see Ruiyichi. He wants to end it all. He wants this game to be over before Mixu can get into the mid game, before he can saturate his third base. He does have to be careful. You see Mixu's army distracted, being pulled away to the left-hand side of the map. Ruiyichi, it looks like he's backing off. It looks like he's respecting the defensive position here of his opponent. Despite the fact that Mixu is overextending a little bit, but it's all good. It does pull back. Again, I do think Mixu, it was really lucky of him to have caught that Immortal. Because of that, he's in a relatively... it's not looking too bad. It could be worse. If there was another Immortal with this army, then I do think that Mixu could get rolled over. Because there's only 1 Immortal now, like, I do think he has a chance to come back in this game. As Ruiyichi is pushing out across the map, he does have a massive supply lead. This 4th base is not long for this world. 4th will be cancelled, not killed this time. And the Archon of Ruiyichi. Oh my god, the queens! Oh, the prism! The prism, oh, is gonna go down. Oof. 2 Archons and the prism do fall. And without that prism, we can't reinforce, we can't micro, we can't save that Archon. Sorry, we can't save the Immortal. This is a risky move out from Ruiyichi. And Mixu is fighting back. Ruiyichi gets fully saturated on 3 bases. Does have his reinforcements stuck at home to a changeling. Something you don't see too often, but that changeling, bit of an MVP, keeping the reinforcements at home, and Ruiyichi hasn't noticed till now. 4th base does fall. The army does consolidate his army here outside his 4th. As Mixu moves out, I don't know if this is the best move out here, but we'll see how this does go. Charge is now done. And we see Ruiyichi coming in from 2 angles. No prism. 1 Immortal is going to be going down almost immediately. Ooh. As we do dodge the blast, we blink on forward. There are no Lings or Banelings to support the Roach Ravager army, and a lot of Roaches getting picked up by the Stalkers. Oh, no creep here either. Mixu, he bleeds out a lot. He did get another Immortal, which is good. But I don't think he has enough to hold on to the counterattack. Got a couple more Roaches on the way. He's got a couple of Banelings being morphed in. There is only one Immortal, to be fair. Mixu's going to be able to hold on. He's trying to buy some time. The Banelings are now done. They're going to be rolling on forward. Once again, the Immortal is exposed. And the Immortal will go down. But who needs Immortals when we have Blink Stalkers? That's the real question. So we have a Zealot Rammer here on the right-hand side of the map. Is going to be able to get a couple of these units. Is going to distract some of the army as well. At the same time, Baneling run by does get an entire mineral line. 13 probes go down. But the Blink Stalkers are still just trading so well. Couple more Lings that do end up fooling the Spore as well, so that does open things up for potentially a DT counterattack. Mixu does have to be careful, does have to be wary. Now the Zealot Rambai is going to be rocking up on the right hand side, but this time there are going to be Banelings waiting for them. Here we go, the Banelings do roll it in, but there are just too many Zealots. The fourth base is going to be exposed. And GG gets called. Ruiyichi wins on two fronts with his main army and with the counterattack, and he takes game number 1. Oh my god. Again, a really great start to the game from Ruiyichi. That DT opener went unscattered, and Mixu was woefully unprepared. He lost not just 1/3, he lost 2 third bases. They were both kills, not cancels, to those DTs. Again, DT openers are really out of fashion. They're really out of fashion. It is very unexpected to go up against that in like current StarCraft. So because of that, those spores did kind of slip Mixu's mind. He didn't really consider that to be a possibility. He was so convinced that it was going to be Glaive Adepts. He was so ready for it as well. He had Roaches, he had Lings, he had everything he needed for Glaives, but it wasn't Glaives. Boy, and now we are up in this series. And we'll see if Ruiyichi can close it out. We'll see if Mixu can fight back. Let's go, Poppy. Let's go. Is that Big Gabe? As spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Babylon, we have the American Protoss player currently leading the series 1-0, representing Apprentice Esports. It is Ruiyichi. And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Babylon, we have his opponent. We have the Finnish Zerg player representing Berserker Esports. It is Mixu. A strong start here from Ruiyichi, but I expect a DT opener will not work twice in this series, so he's got to be careful. Meanwhile, nice 15 hatch there from Mixu. 15 hatch into a 15 pool. Love to see it. I imagine it's going to be into a 15 pool. We'll see. We'll see. So with this 15 hatchery, Mixu is able to get his natural base up on location in time as well. And there is that 15 pool. So this build has been making the rounds. Again, this does secure your natural base as a Zerg player in ZvP. It does also mean that I believe your first tumor is faster as well at your natural, so you can kind of get more map presence and more map control earlier. It does make dealing with the first adept a little bit easier as well as a result. Because obviously the gases are delayed. And I think the other important thing about this as well is that gas isn't the most important thing early on in ZvP. Like, link speed helps defend against adepts, sure, but you're only going to be really dealing with 1 or 2, and they're going to be on creep. They're going to be trying to harass you, and on creep, like, again, your link's going to be fast enough, your queens as well. So there is a bit of a trade-off, of course, for the 15-15, but regardless, solid opener. Quite solid indeed. Meanwhile, back at home, Ruiyichi is just going to be opening up in a standard fashion as well, just going for a gate expand into a cybercore. Nothing crazy from our Protoss. Again, we should be seeing another Twilight Council opener, but now that we saw DTs, we should be seeing a... Oh, never mind. I was going to say we should be seeing a Glaive Adept opener. No, we are not. We're getting a Robo first. Oh my god. Okay, so this could be for an Immortal All-In. This could also be for something that I haven't seen in a while. This could be for a Disruptor drop, which is very out of meta. Like, that was a little more common like 2 years ago. Okay, but there we go. It is going to be a Robo into a Twilight Council instead, but a much faster Robo coming up from Ruiyichi. Curious to see how he does come about this. Meanwhile, the Adept slips into the natural base. 2 drones get picked off. Good pickups from our Protoss player. Workers have been pulled out of gas. This is... Oh, it is going to be an Immortal push. But because we pulled 2 out of gas, is this going to be like an Immortal Adept All-In? Or Immortal Charge? Pull back into gas. We don't really have enough gas for an upgrade yet. Yeah, charge. Okay, there we go. It is going to be an Immortal Charger All-In off of 2 bases. Oh boy, again, something you don't see too often. And these 2 builds from Ruiyichi, you know, they're a statement to Mixu. They're like, hey, welcome to NA. Mixu's out here, you know, 6K on Korea, sorry, on Europe, you know, just like playing macro, playing standard, expecting Glaive Adepts, expecting Stargate openers. No, Papi, no. Not here. Oh boy. So this is all in. We are going to be... Oh my god. A little bit of a misclick. Oh no, actually we were a little bit supplied, but we killed a probe to make another Immortal, I think. Incredible it out. There we go. Pylons are being thrown down to make sure we don't get supply blocked. 5 gates in the main, 2 gates in the natural, 7 gates in total. This is very committed here from Ruiyichi. He's going to be waiting for his first 2 Immortals to pop out to get into his own prism. As that happens, though, Lings are out on the map. We do see Lings patrolling all over the place, trying to get eyes on things. We're going to try and power through the wall at the natural, and it looks like this Stalker will go down. But we have more than just that. Meanwhile, back at home, we have Spores in the 3rd base. We don't have a Spore in the main or the natural, but we have a Spore outside the natural. The Immortals reveal themselves. Mixu was expecting DTs. He's faced with Charge-Lots and Immortals instead. This is already hitting here, already knocking down the front door of Mixu. Another massive wave of Charge-Lots. This 3rd base is going to be completely forfeit. And Ruiyichi's got some options. He can go for the 3rd, or he can try and push up this ramp. He's going to be giving Mixu a lot of time, though, by going for the 3rd base. But he does catch a good chunk of these roaches. 3rd hatchery is going to be going down. That is going to be a massive blow to the production of Mixu. But again, he was able to buy time to position himself here outside the natural. He's got a Spine Crawl on the ramp as well. Got Ravagers trying to zone away the army. God, and that Prism's gonna be careful. Oh, the Biles do end up connecting there with that Immortal, but there are so many Zealots. The Zealots are going crazy. We do see some Biles. They will connect with the Prism, and they will not bring it down. It just barely survives. And it looks like there are too many Charge Lots. They're busting on forward here. The Spine Crawler goes down. The Roaches, the boys are being pulled as well, but there's too much. Ruiyichi. Oh my god, he is doing it. GG, well played. Ruiyichi takes the 2-0 and eliminates Mixu. Oh my god. That is disgusting. Welcome to North America, papi. Aye. GG, well played. Congratulations to Ruiyichi as he takes the series 2-0 and moves on to the next round. And Mixu, his run ends here. A little bit unfortunate. I would love to have seen a little bit more of Mixu. But alas, 'tis not meant to be. Feels bad. Feels bad, man, Poppy. Feels bad, man. Aye. As Ruiyichi advances on to the next round where he already has an opponent ready and waiting. Ooh. It is going to be Ruiyichi versus Vindicta. Again, my condolences to Mixu. In game 1, again, he was very prepared for Glaive Adepts. DTs caught him off guard. In game 2, he was prepared for DTs and Glaives. It was a charge all in. That's the thing about these Twilight Council openers. It can be really difficult to figure out what is going on. It can be really difficult to distinguish between the three of them, and even more, because there is more than just those three that Protoss can do on 2 bases. That's why it's all the more important for Overlord Scouts to try to get into the main base and try to figure out what exactly is going on. But really good of Mixu to mix things up in this series and to catch Mixu off guard. Really well executed overall. GG. Well, really well planned out series, I should say. GG, well played.